Hello, everyone. We now encourage you to wrap up your conversations in the resource fair and join us again for our next panel. We'll be beginning our panel in approximately 3 minutes. Thank you. Oh, it suddenly became quite quiet when I stood here. So perhaps I'll follow your lead and I'll get started. So welcome back to the afternoon session. We hope that you had a great chance at lunch to grab something to eat and to meet many of the people who are excited to join you and assist you through your time here at Western in graduate school. We're now going to start with our second panel, which brings together a number of additional experts from campus. Again, we've chosen the questions that they're answering from questions that you've posed online. We're going to still use the questions that we don't get to today to help inform our programming throughout the year and in the years to come, so that we're bringing you information, ideas, and events that are directly related to the types of experiences you're looking for here at Western. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it back over to our moderator, Mark.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. We'll just get right into the panel. We'll be running the panel again for an hour. We'll wrap up this section at about 2 o'clock, and then there's a concluding segment as well at the end, so stick around for that, please. This afternoon's panel, we have 6 individuals on the panel, which I will introduce now. Starting on the far right, we have Danielle Carr, and she is the Gender-Based Violence Prevention Education Coordinator with the Wellness Education Center here on campus. And she's also a PhD candidate in the Faculty of Education, so she's one of you. Next to Danielle is Jeremy Johnston. He is with the Society of Graduate Students, or SOGS, remember your acronyms. He's the VP of Student Services, and he's also one of your people. He's a PhD candidate in the Department of English Literature. Next to Jeremy is Aisha Hawk. She is the Associate Director, Graduate Education with the Center for Teaching and Learning. Next to Aisha is Wassam Abdelhamid Mohammed. He is also with SOGS and is the VP of Advocacy, and he's a Master's of Science student in the Faculty of Engineering. Next to Wassam is Jennifer Bader. She is a career counselor with Careers and Experience, correct? And on the far left here is Sandra Pahel, and she is the International Student Advisor with Western International. So you have a good mix of administrators and working students here. You'll hopefully take a lot away from everybody today. So please welcome your panel. Okay, so we'll run this similar to this morning, so I will just be asking the questions that you submitted. I will be asking the questions on your behalf. Let's start with Wassam. I think that's as good a place as any to start. Question from students, what are the key elements that come together to make Western a home away from home?
So, I don't know why I came on the spot with the first question, but I'd be happy to answer it. So when I actually read that question, I tried to go through my memories of the first day at school, and I tried to just go through the main key elements that made me feel welcome. So first of all, congratulations on being accepted at Western. You made it. I'm pretty sure that your academic skills are perfect. However, to answer the question and to make your experience at Western is really unique, you need to go outside the classroom. Western is good in having so many resources that can help you. I can just mention the International Exchange Student Center. That was my home for like 3 months to get to know Canada and the culture. They run a lot of events that are oriented towards helping international students. SOGS, you're more than welcome to attend all our events. Most of them are free. You will be surprised how welcoming the community in Canada is. Everyone is going to be welcoming you. Everyone want to help you genuinely. And SOGS is the perfect space for you to start this outside the class activity. The one thing that you need to keep in mind is you need to have an open mind and the will to actually get to learn. I know that for us as international students, whatever age range we're talking about, we have lived our entire life within a certain culture, within the specific thoughts. My advice to you is whenever you meet with anyone, be willing to do the effort to be an active listener and get to understand and learn more about them.
Thank you, Wissam. I think I'll kind of build on that, and Sandra, I'll put this question to you. Speaking of, international students, we have a significant percentage of our graduate population who are international students, in excess of 20%. Coming from about 100 different countries around the world. So it is a very diverse group here. What resources are available to newcomers who are new to London or who are new to Canada to help with that transition into the Canadian culture?
Thank you so much, Wassam, for acknowledging the hard work of International and Exchange Student Services in supporting international students at Western. In terms of graduate students, they have a lot of resources available, again, not only through our office, but kind of in the larger community. A variety of social events are being organized throughout the year to welcome everyone and to also introduce Canadian culture. An example is a Thanksgiving dinner that we are going to organize very soon in collaboration with our colleagues in food services. But we also have a variety of other events, like a weekly global cafe that's happening every Thursday, gives everyone an opportunity for intercultural exchange. So many actually graduate students, international and domestic, participate in our Global Cafe. We have really practical events as well, like we are organizing a lot of sessions with our colleagues in career services to help international students learn about job searching in Canada in terms of how to really market their skills, but we focus as well on making sure that everyone understands what they need to know in terms of having proper immigration documents. So, for example, how to apply for an extension of their study permits, how does having a temporary resident visa, if you come from a country that requires one, fits in this, applying for post-graduation work permit, and of course, it's of big interest to many graduate international students to learn about how to become permanent resident. So we do provide a general overview and information on how to qualify for Canadian Experience Class, Federal Skilled Worker Program, Provincial Nominee, and so on. So a variety of services is available there to support graduate international students, again, being open-minded and also being willing to embrace these opportunities. Volunteering opportunities are there. Many of the programs that we run provide opportunities to kind of enhance and gain communication skills, leadership skills. Again, intercultural competency is the key really to your success, even as an international student, to really interact with other individuals. And I think will make you successful once you graduate from your program.
Excellent. Thank you, Sandra. Aisha, would you like to add something to that?
Would. So in addition to all of the services and programs that Sandra just mentioned, I wanted to mention some programs at the Center for Teaching and Learning. So our center actually offers the most comprehensive suite of programs for international graduate students in all of Canada. So we have programs to help you make a successful transition to Canadian academia, to the academic environment, and it includes programs on teaching, it includes programs on teamwork skills, conflict resolution, and also working on your presentation skills. In a lot of these workshops, we video record you while you're teaching or while you're presenting, and then you get to watch the videos and get feedback on your teaching and your presentation skills from your peers.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay, I just want to mention, too, that the theme of this half of the panel is thriving at Western. So you're going to hear a lot more about those kinds of services that will allow you to thrive, and less about the academic administrative side of your program here. So we hope it dovetails nicely with what you heard this morning without too much overlap here. Danielle, I'm going to put this question to you. What are the services available for graduate students for mental health support?
It's a great question, and I think historically, graduate student mental health needs and supports have gone sort of not addressed appropriately, and so student experience is investing in making sure that graduate students are thriving, just as we are investing in that undergraduate experience as well. In terms of supports and resources and programming, Student Experience is doing a large investment in making sure that those are accessible to graduate students, because there haven't been historically communicated to graduate students. So we have the Wellness Education Center, and we're making sure that all of our programming isn't just available to graduate students, but that we have separate programming and services available to graduate students. Because I know from personal experience, if I see an advertisement or something that's promoting a program on campus, if it doesn't explicitly say for graduate students, I don't feel like it's for me as a graduate student. I will assume that I will show up to a program or service that is primarily for undergraduate students. So we're very intentionally doing more work around communicating to graduate students, and then also making sure that there are specific programs and supports available specifically. So the Wellness Education Center, we offer programming and referrals to support graduate students in exploring wellness of all kinds. So whether it be spiritual wellness, financial wellness, environmental wellness, sexual wellness, all sorts of things like that. We have recently amalgamated with Student Health Services, making sure that students, and especially graduate students, are supported there, and that they know that student health and wellness is a priority for us. And so we're actually going to be, in the next couple of years, having a physical space that combines all of our student health and student wellness services, and certainly we'll have a space that's for graduate students to access as well.
Okay, thank you, Danielle. That's great. Question for Jen now. Again, as a spokesperson for the questions that were submitted to us, what are the sorts of things I should be doing during graduate school to prepare for the workforce when I graduate with my degree?
Okay, good question. Show of hands, how many of you want to get a job after you finish your degree? Okay, most. Excellent. So this information is relevant. One of I guess the way I'm going to start answering this question is that the world of work is quickly changing. Dell Technologies and the Institute for the Future recently released a report where they projected that 85% of the jobs that will exist in 2030 do not yet exist. That is 10 years away. So, what can you do as a graduate student to prepare for work in an ever-changing world? You're no longer preparing to just follow a linear path into a particular job or job title. And we know that employers are looking for graduates who are agile, who can adapt, and continuously learn as they enter the work environment. So here are some real practical things you can do. Instead of thinking and asking the question, what kind of job do I want to have, or what do I want to be when I'm done, I encourage you while you're in graduate school to instead be thinking about what are the kind of challenges I want to tackle in my career? What are the kind of problems that I want to work on? And use this time while you're in your studies to talk to people and to start investigating who's out there working on these problems and challenges that I'm also interested in. What kind of companies are they? What kind of people are they? And then go out and talk to those people. So talk to people, your peers, your professors, your advisors, talk to people, consider volunteering and getting experience outside of your curricular experiences. And also consider internships. There is a graduate student internship program that offers you the opportunity to consider full-time, part-time, 4-month, and so on, paid internship opportunities. And that's a real great way to connect what you're learning in the classroom to future work and industry. And we know through employer surveys that when employers are pre-screening candidates, they are looking for things like co-op, internship, and service learning experience, and state that they will preference a candidate or prefer a candidate who has those types of experiences over academic performance. So 3 great ways that you can start preparing here at Western.
Great, thanks, Jen. Kind of building on that in the employment realm, many of you as graduate students will be working as teaching assistants. Aisha, I'll put this question to you. Can you provide your top 3 tips for being a good TA?
Absolutely, and I think many of you were at TA Day yesterday. Can I just see a show of hands who was at TA Day? It's great to see you again. So here are my top 3 strategies or tips for being a TA. The first thing I want to say is foster a positive relationship with your TA supervisor and other TAs that you're going to be working with. I always say that being a TA is a team sport, right? So what can you do? Meet with your supervisor to clarify expectations about what will be expected of you as a TA. Make sure you fill out your duty specification agreement with your supervisor so you know exactly, here are my responsibilities, this is what I'm doing this year, this is how many hours I can be expected to spend on my TA-ship. Ask your supervisor, how much time should I spend on prepping for my labs or tutorials? How much time will it take to grade each assignment? Things like that. Ask your supervisor for tips on engaging students in the discipline, in the subject matter. Invite them to watch you teach and get them to write a letter for you so that you have it for your files for later on. So that was the first tip. The second tip is engage students with active learning. Make learning engaging and fun for them. And start on the very first day of class. Do an icebreaker with your students so that you can get to know them, right? So one, you'll get to know them, but it's also a low stakes way for your students to start participating on the very first day of class. If you don't get your students engaged on day 1, it's going to be harder in month 2 to get them participating and talking. My third tip is watch and learn from excellent teachers. Western has so many incredible, phenomenal instructors on our campus, and I want you to watch and learn from each of those instructors on campus. Make notes about how they engage students. What kinds of activities do they do? What kinds of questions do they ask? How do they prepare their PowerPoints, right? How do they approach teaching? Make notes of all of that and model yourself after the best instructors that you see during your years at Western.
Great, thanks. Jeremy, would you like to add something to what Aisha was just commenting on?
Yeah, I'll just add in terms of all of that is phenomenal advice, but also you can make the opportunity to tap into some of the resources you already have, in the sense of you're all coming from undergraduate programs respectively at various places. You've taken numerous classes with tons of professors and instructors, and get a sense of what worked for you. So think about who your favorite professors were and why. What kind of assignments really worked for you? What kind of feedback really worked for you? And try and model how you would like to kind of present yourself in that way. So take advantage of the resources that you have while you're here and the instructors and learning from them, but also tap into the ones you've already kind of gone through and kind of sit with, especially if you're running a tutorial or something like that, what kind of skills really worked and made you more attentive in class. That way you can kind of model that for your students as well.
Great advice, all of it. You can keep your mic on because your next question's coming up. So I think let's get out of the classroom for a minute. So tell me, what's in place to support and encourage graduate students to maintain interest and engagement outside of study or class hours, Jeremy?
Yeah, so I'll speak. We at SOGS here, we have a number of support available for graduate students within the academic sphere in kind of conjunction with some of the other speakers that are here, but also outside of the academic stuff. And we, as an organization, want to help you succeed and thrive here at Western as best as possible, both socially and with your wellness, professionally, all of it. For example, we have resources such as like the Wellness Joint Fund, where if you'd like to kind of host a wellness event for your discipline or department, then you can apply for us and we can help kind of provide some funding for you so you can get out and maybe mix things up with your own colleagues. We also have a number of events that we try to organize on campus to make sure that you have an opportunity to get out and stretch your legs with, again, with colleagues in your own discipline to kind of get to know them in new contexts, but also meet new students in other departments. And one of the things in grad school that can occur is kind of a bit of clustering within your own field, and SOGS is an opportunity for you to get out and kind of meet other people who are doing some wonderful work here in totally different areas, and you'd be surprised how much some of those conversations and engagements can really help you with your own work once you get back to the classroom.
Excellent, thank you. It's almost like English people can get along with engineers, right?
It's true.
Okay, good. Good to know.
Maybe.
Yes. Danielle, a question for you. Could you speak to some of the general successful habits of mind for graduate school? So again, we're talking about wellness in this regard.
That's a big question. That's a good question. We were just saying if I need to pause and think about an answer to say that that's a good question. No, so successful habits or habits to be successful. I don't know, you know, like I'm hesitant to answer that. One, because what makes me well and therefore successful is really dependent on my biography, my identity, my location. And so it's difficult for me to say, hey, like do these things and you're gonna be all right and ultimately successful. What I think some good habits is to start thinking about for yourselves, what does it mean to be well for me? Right? And that's going to shift. You know, when I was an undergraduate, I didn't need a whole lot, you know, probably some sleep and a pizza and, you know, decent grades. And now I'm a mom, you know, I have all these other experiences that have informed how I interact with the world. And so therefore my wellness needs have shifted. So I think, one, keep mindful of your wellness and how that's going to intersect with your success. I think part of that is being clear about what success looks like, right? Like I think for me especially, I came into my PhD program. I laugh now because I'm in my 5th year. But I came in thinking, right, I'm gonna be I'm gonna like bang it out of the park, and in 3 years, you're gonna be calling me doctor. That's not happened yet. And I think my ability to say, all right, I'm older, life is happening in bigger ways for me as an older student, and to be okay with that, you know, I'm going at a pace that makes my work meaningful, that makes my life manageable. And I think, yeah, so I think being aware of what wellness looks like to you is useful, because I don't think we've been asked that enough, particularly as graduate students. We're not supposed to be well, we're supposed to be stressed, and we're supposed to be successful. And then I think recognizing that might shift day to day, semester to semester, year to year, you know, and to allow yourself to fail. You know, I think part of thriving isn't getting it right. I think part of thriving is getting it wrong, and being okay with that and then moving on. So, you know, my project, my doctoral project is not what it started out to be. It's certainly smaller. I'm still proud of it. It's still amazing and I'm really excited about it, but I've had to shift my expectations around that so that I can still, you know, thrive in my social and personal life as well.
Excellent, thanks Danielle, good advice. Aisha, would you like to add something to that?
I wanted to add something because I feel that when I first did grad school, I did grad school wrong. And let me tell you what I mean by that. I focused only on academics when I was doing my master's, and it became my whole world. It was like tunnel vision. All I could think about was the job that I wanted at the end of it and what I thought I needed to do to get there. And I ignored the rest of my life, and it created for a really unhappy year. I mean, I loved the year of my master's. I met amazing people, but I wish, looking back on it now, I had spent more time for myself. And work-life balance was a phrase that I had never heard before 10 years ago during that experience. And if I could change one thing, because I'm really happy with how I did academically, but I felt I ignored myself. And so I'm really happy to hear questions about wellness and everything that we're doing now for graduate students around wellness, because it's a piece that I don't want you to forget in these next few years. Take time for yourself. Don't let life pass you by because you're focused on your studies. Make space for that.
Excellent, thank you. Sandra, yes.
On the theme of kind of wellness, when working with international students, we recognize that often many students will not be comfortable to ask for help as a grad student because they think, hey, I'm already doing my master's, so I'm here for my PhD. So it's not really easy to go and ask for look for supporting services. So I really encourage you to do that. I once heard that those who ask for help and support are the successful ones. So it will really enable you to be better as a TA, research assistant, and really kind of thrive in your PhD or master program. Engage in your community. Explore what resources are available because again, finding a balance in, right, like, doing your academics, but also being socially engaged, meeting people who may have similar interests, going back to Jen's kind of suggestion about talking to people, networking. You never know how a volunteering opportunity, either at Western or in the community, may open the doors for something else, and you may discover actually passion to do work and kind of resolve some of these problems in a company that you've been dreaming about just because you met some right people at the right time. So again, be gentle to yourself as a grad student, and it's okay to ask for help if needed.
And let's stick with the international student kind of chat here, Sandra. Again, on behalf of students, where can I find information about visas and immigration and working volunteering in Canada as an international student?
Thank you. We do have in our International Exchange Student Center, actually part of Western International, resources that can help you with regard to learning about extension of study permits, as I previously mentioned, and even permanent residency. So we do have daily drop-in hours, so you can talk to actually, when it comes to immigration, we have 2 regulated Canadian immigration consultants who can discuss anything immigration related, so including PR, and we have 2 colleagues who have RISIA designation, which means that they're able to provide support on issues related to study permits and working regulations for students only, so kind of excluding permanent residency, work permits, and other kind of categories. So we do have great resources in place at Western that can support your kind of inquiries related to immigration and temporary status in Canada. In terms of volunteering, this actually applies to all students at Western, including kind of graduate domestic students. There are opportunities to become involved with the English Conversation Program. We have a great program. 60 volunteers are recruited to help probably a group of 200 international students who plan to improve their English speaking skills. So those even who are kind of fluent in English, they can always learn some kind of idiomatic expression, slang, and just kind of improve their ability to interact successfully in their department. So English Conversation Program is a great way to become involved as a volunteer. Peer Guide Program, we have 90 peer guides this year, international and domestic students, undergraduate and graduate, who are going to help probably about 550 newly arrived international students this fall. So those positions provide Western students with an opportunity to enhance leadership skills, again, communication skills, and kind of can help you really become successful as a graduate student because you're interacting on a daily basis with other students. You are kind of in a capacity of a mentor, and you are able to engage in intercultural exchange. So as a graduate student, you can actually contribute greatly to the community and learn a lot and enhance your own skills.
Wonderful, Sandra. So that's kind of what you can do while you're here. I'm going to now put this to you, Jen. What does Western do after the fact to help international students who are able to work and stay in Canada find employment after graduating?
Okay, so we work with international students in many of the same ways that we would work with non-international students. We offer one-on-one support. We actually partner with the International and Exchange Student Center to offer tailored workshops around finding work in Canada, getting experience, and other relevant topics. We partner with community organizations, for example, Employ, and their mandate is to help connect employers to international talent. So there are a lot of ways that we do work with international students, in addition to the resources and services that are available to all students.
Excellent, thank you very much. Wissam, let's change gears a little bit. Describe the London winter, and let me know what I can do to make it more enjoyable.
So, raise your hand if you're an international student. Oh my God, okay. So, when I first saw the question, it was how bad is the winter? Like no one is debating that the winter is bad. It's just how bad it is. So, the winter in London is actually, I hate myself for saying this, but it's awful. It's a lot of ice, it's really cold, but we still have hope. I'm just saying this for you to take the winter seriously. It's not a joke that you need to have the winter gear on. It's a safety issue. Once you get through this, you will be able to navigate your life as normal as you would like through the summer or not. I did volunteer for the Western Food Patrol during the winter, so I was walking for 3 hours straight during the nights of the cold winter, and that was fine because I had my winter gear on. So take it seriously, safety first.
Aisha?
We talk about winter gear a little bit. If you're not from a really cold climate, I'm actually from the other side of the country. I'm from Vancouver, and even when I came here, the winter was a huge shock. I thought I had winter gear, but it wasn't enough. So let's take a second, let's describe what winter gear is for everyone. For me, the really big important things are good boots, right? So you want to make sure they're warm and that they have good grip on the bottom so that you're not slipping on ice. It makes a huge difference in being able to walk or not. You're gonna want a long jacket that covers as much of you as possible. You're gonna wanna cover your head, right? So you want a jacket with a hood so that you can cover your head properly. Anything else? Socks, gloves, scarf. Cover as much of you as you can.
Yes, Wissam.
Don't be scared. Just cover as much of you as you can.
I just want to add to this that I don't want you to feel intimidated by the winter. We're just overwhelming you so that you take it seriously. But other than that, you will get to see that there are a lot of indoor and outdoor activities that you can do during the winters. Victoria Park, you have the skating ring. On campus, there are a lot of events indoors. Winter comes with a beautiful mix of hot chocolate and hot drinks, so you get to enjoy a lot of gatherings, a lot of parties in houses if you're up to that. So just take it seriously, safety first, but then other than that, you will enjoy your life in winter. And you get to play with the snow if it's your first time to see the snow.
Excellent, yes, Sandra.
So we will be planning snow tubing so you can learn how to love winter. Again, it can be really romantic and exciting, so going back to the comments of my colleagues.
Great, excellent. Thank you. Jeremy, I'll put this to you. How do I stay informed and updated about events going on in the area? And that could be during the summer months or the winter months.
Yeah. Okay, so events calendars are going to be your friend across the board. So, I mean, specifically on campus, any of the organizations represented here will have fully developed events calendars with all sorts of programming. There's usually stuff going on every week, regardless of what you're looking for. If you're looking for some academic assistance, if you're looking for some wellness programming, any of that. So any of the kind of the units here, you can visit their website to kind of get a sense of what's coming up, at least for the next month. But often more so than that. Other than that, in terms of the local, if you're new to London, then also the same thing. The London City website also is a great place to go check out to see what type of weekend events they might be hosting or organizing. Victoria Park is often a place where a lot of things, which is downtown London, occur. And so any of those spots are great places to go. At the same time, if you are able to kind of swing by any of our departments, we're also able to help you kind of coordinate if there's something you're looking to do or a place you're looking to get involved with, then we can also help you point in the right direction. But those would be kind of the first places to start. The obvious one that I didn't really mention, but I'm sure you can all tune into for those of you with social media, is get familiar with following not only the various representatives on campus, but local news stations, things like that, that can kind of just give you a sense of what's going on in the day-to-day in the London community.
Thanks, Jeremy. That's great. I shall put this question to you. What service or unit on campus, besides the Center for Teaching and Learning, do you think is integral to the success of graduate students here on campus?
Wow, I think there are so many, it would be hard to pick one or two because I think it depends on what you need in that moment. I think one service that's not represented here right now, but that you probably saw earlier that I think is definitely worth a trip to is the Writing Support Center. So as graduate students, you're going to be doing a lot of writing, and meeting with somebody and going over your writing, I think, can be really valuable. I remember when I first started graduate school, I never received feedback on my writing ever, other than from instructors. And I remember creating writing groups after and meeting people through services like the Writing Support Center and realizing how valuable it was to get feedback from my peers on my writing, and even from learning from people who, graduate students who were in other disciplines outside of my own, and how that broadened my understanding of writing within my own discipline.
Excellent. Thanks. Jeremy, do you want to add something?
I'll just say, no? There we go. Yeah, the writing part is something that often, at least in my own experience, graduate students, especially in English, oddly enough, when you would think that half of the work that we're doing, if we're not reading something, we're writing about it. But a lot of students tend to not talk or share their writing as much. We're free to talk about the ideas or anything like that conceptually, but then everyone kind of goes off and does their own writing individually because it's a very personal practice, and it takes a lot of skill to kind of hone and tweak. So using the support like the Writing Support Center is one place to go, but it's also as new grad students getting comfortable with each other and actually sharing your writing with each other and using each other as good peer editors, especially those of you in your own departments that can kind of understand what it is you're talking about. But I think getting comfortable with each other's writing, because it's something that we're all here doing, regardless of what discipline you're in. Everyone here is going to be writing some form of report, essay, any of that nature. And I think that's something that we could all do a bit better to talk a little bit more about and help each other in that practice.
Thanks, Jeremy. Wissam, do you want to add something more?
So yeah, I just want to add something to that, but I want to ask you, raise your hand if you feel that your entire week has been going in a beautiful, lovely way, right? Because I remember my first day, no one loves what we're going through. Honestly, for me, it was a terrible experience. I was overwhelmed. I had a lot of information. I felt that I'm lost. I need to deal with housing. I need to deal with financial issues. So I want to emphasize that there are a lot of resources on campus, but if I want to add one thing to what my colleagues have said, is there are a lot of people who got your back on this campus, and I can say with comfort that SOGS is the first stop that you need to stop by if you're having any problem. Whether we're talking about you need just simple help about financial issues, we have a lot of financial support program. I remember that my first day on campus, there was a miscommunication, and I thought that I'm gonna get paid on my first day, and I came with just $500, and I was supposed to pay 2 months for rent in advance. But SOGS got my back. You get access to an emergency loan, for example, without any interest. There are a lot of financial support and a lot of other supports that you can get access to. So I want you to take a moment to, first of all, take a deep breath, try to absorb what's happening to you, that's not the end of the world. We got your back. We're gonna be happy to help you. You can grab your phone right now and go to sogs.ca and explore all the different resources that we offer to you. There's one tab about financial support and how you can get a lot of money pots from different places, so feel free to navigate this. And stop by our office, call our office, and we will be happy to help.
Thanks, Wissam, that's great. Kind of building on that, it's reminding me of, in the first panel discussion, one of the questions was, what's the difference between being an undergraduate student and a graduate student? And I think a critical difference from my perspective as a communicator for graduate studies is knowing that you, as my audience that we're communicating with, you're not 17 trying to navigate university life. You're all coming here with a great deal of maturity and experience about how university works. And then therefore you're jumping off and creating new knowledge, and you're not just, taking in information and spitting stuff back. So I'm gonna put this next question to you, Danielle, kind of in that vein, because the reality is, you're grown-ups, you know what you've signed up for, and the vast majority of you have families of your own. And I just want to put to you, Danielle, what are some of the considerations for graduate students who are parents and that kind of work-life balance, from one dad to a mom?
That's a great question. No. So I became a parent during my program, so that's been interesting. So sort of coming in with carefree and nothing else to do but study and write, and now my PhD's on the back burner, and I think that's okay. I think so my daughter's only 19 months old, so at first it was all about her and little to do with my education. And I think that's okay. So my suggestion, or take it or not, but because I'm certainly not doing a perfect job, but I think there are moments when I have to say, no, my family is a priority. School's always going to be here, Now, my time is ticking, but there's always going to be an opportunity to read the next publication. There's going to be an opportunity to go to that seminar, that conference, but I really want to be present in my daughter's life. On the other hand, I also want to model for her what hard work and investment in my education looks like. And that, I want her to see me sitting at, our dining room kitchen table working away, and letting her know that while she is very important and I want to make time for her needs and bonding with her, that, mommy is important and the work that I do is important as well. So I think finding a balance between giving your family the attention that they need, especially while they're small, if it's a younger family, it's a really special time, but also then to be modeling what good doing your homework looks like, and finding a balance. And again, like I said, my last question is that's going to shift, right? Like I know as I get closer to submitting, mommy's going to be, probably not as available. And I think that that's okay. And to prioritize your own wellness, sometimes over the needs of your family. Ultimately, you can't serve from an empty cup, right? So making sure you're well so that you can give to your family. But yeah, just roll with it. Parenting's hard, and then, you're working and you're studying and you have all these expectations. Cut yourself some slack. Make sure you reach out. It takes a village. It's so true. So make sure you know who your support systems are. Don't be afraid to rely on them. And like Sandra was saying, don't be afraid to reach out for help. Myself and Monica and SOGS, we're in the midst of making sure that parents in graduate studies are supported, and we're developing some intentional programming, like a support group where you can come and, dish it all out and make sure you're sharing sort of wellness strategies with other graduate student parents and families. So stay tuned for that.
Excellent advice, all. Wissam, I'll put this to you kind of in the same vein. Some of you are parents and have your kids here and family here, but some of you international students, you're far away from home. How do you stay connected to your family and friends back at home despite the distance and the demands of also trying to excel and be successful in grad school?
Yeah, actually that question made me reflect on my own life. I remember when I first came to Western, I was like, oh, it's going to be the same. I'm going to be connected with all my friends. And to a certain extent, this is true. We got so many channels now that you can be connected with everyone, whether social media, whether we're talking about WhatsApp groups or whatever. So there are a lot of technology that can help you stay connected. My advice to you is don't separate yourself. Stay connected with your family, talk to them on a daily basis or a weekly basis. Keep them engaged into your life, because you never want to be in a position where you feel that all of a sudden you're by yourself. The Canadian culture and the Canadian community is really good. You will feel welcome. Everyone want to be friends with you. However, if you're an international student, or even domestic, but from a far place, and you will only visit once a year, there is this part where you feel I belong to somewhere else, or I belong to my family, and that's totally fine. That's our identity, and you just need to embrace it and stay connected with your family. Try to have a routine into it, like whatever your schedule work, and I know that the time difference also play an important role into it, but have a daily time where you think about your family and call them. Have a weekly time where you dedicate a few minutes to ask about your friends. How's your life? Post a picture for yourself on your social media. Just keep people engaged with your life and get engaged in the people's life. And the beautiful part about it is you have access to it. It's not like, we're sending a letter or anything. You get to stay connected all the time.
Excellent, thank you. Sandra, would you like to add
Just
something?
to add to it that we have tea and information sessions every Friday afternoon for spouses and partners of international students. Many years ago, I had a grad student in PhD who came and said, my wife is really lonely at home, and I think she wants to go back. She's missing her family, and she's missing the job she was doing there. And actually, seeing her sad, right, like doesn't enable me to focus on my research. So many years ago, in our office, we started with spousal programming, which is basically just a welcoming and safe place for spouses and partners of international students to come together and talk about challenges that they face and kind of building communities. So we have weekly about 15 participants who come regularly. We always hear that some of them find jobs, and when they don't come, that's okay. But we are actually talking about some practical topics, such as how to look for jobs. So we are not career counselors. We rely on resources from our colleagues in career services. But we will be discussing, for example, cultural norms around job searching, volunteering in the community. Many of them start with volunteering opportunities with the Boys and Girls Club or Children's Museum. They build references, and then they actually, as they improve their spoken English, they kind of find jobs. And so we're very proud of that group of community members whom we support, because we believe that success, that kind of happiness among spouses really means success to grad students. So working together collaboratively as a community to enable you to focus on your research is something we love doing. So please keep that in mind. Thank you.
Great, thank you. You were referencing employment, so I think I'm going to segue back over to Jen. I'm going to combine a couple questions here, Jen. I think it makes sense. So one, where do grad students find out about jobs to begin with? And two, do most students have employment set up already, that they're just walking out of their degree into the new position?
Okay, so 2 questions combined. I might combine the last one that I have as well, about what we do to support graduate students in finding employment. So I want to just start off by saying that at Western, we recognize that the skills and expertise that you bring as graduate students are unique. You bring a unique value to an employment setting. And so part of our job is helping you understand what that looks like and articulate that. And then we also have a team who do that work in an outward-facing, employer-facing way. And so part of our unit works with employers to help them understand the value of a graduate degree and source employers who already understand the value of a graduate degree to bring them in to recruit on campus. Now, do students know what they are going to do after graduation? I would say the majority of students know. It's okay if you don't know what you want to do after your degree. And given the fact that the labor market is changing so rapidly, it's actually really hard to know what you're going to do when you finish your degree 2 years, 4 years, 6 years from now, whatever that plan looks like for you. So we have a lot of resources to support you, and I'm not going to go through everything, but we do more than just resume feedback. That is part of what we offer. We do have students who review resumes, and we actually have 25 graduate students this year who offer a peer-to-peer service to do that kind of work. But you can meet at any stage of your program or the tenure of your degree. You can meet one-on-one with a professional staff member. And our philosophy is not to just help you find a job. What we care about is helping you create a meaningful life, as broad as that, because career, job, it's part of life, and we recognize the importance of using your degree in a way to find a career and build a career that also makes sense in the greater context of your life. So that's our philosophy when we work with you. Now, we work with you from connecting your degree to career, from looking at job search and networking, the real practical elements of job search. But some of that detail I think you can look into on our website, and I'm not going to go too far into that. One thing I want you to know is that once you graduate from Western, you still have access to support. So if you graduate 4 years from now, June 2023, okay? Our office actually treats you as though you're a full-time graduate student for 1 full year after that graduation date. Because we know that most students don't find employment right after graduation. So we treat you as though you're a regular student for 1 full year after your graduation date, and you have full access to all of our resources and services. After that year point, you then have resources and support from Western Alumni Career Management. 20 years from now, if you need career support, you can come back to Western and we have supports for you. So as a Western student, you now forever you have lifelong career support as a Western student, which I think is pretty unique and pretty valuable. So instead of going into too many details, we do have a really great new website. It's career.uwo.ca. Take a look now, take a look 3 years from now, and at any point you can connect with one of our professional staff members if you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your life.
Excellent. Thanks, Jen. I think we have time for one more question, so I think it'd be appropriate to maybe end with Aisha. As a graduate student, what are some of your fondest memories of your time here as a graduate student?
Meeting new people and making new friends. I would say, hands down, number one, it was such an amazing period of time where I got to meet people who were all so passionate about the exact same thing that I was passionate about. And I've made, I think, lifelong friendships with some of these people. And I met my husband in grad school.
Yes, nice way to end. Okay, everybody, please can we have a round of applause for our panel? So that was great. This was quite different than the morning. So I'm glad you guys stuck around and hopefully got a taste of what's what here. Again, we're just scratching the surface. So I hope you got a sense of the breadth of what's out there. And I'll just reiterate, grad.uwo.ca. All of these services are connected through the SGPS website. You can use that as the portal to get to all the other websites of all these other great representatives here and their units on campus. And, explore. If you have a question, there's an answer. And if you need something, your needs will be met. I think that's fundamentally the theme of all of this. So thanks for being here, and we'll pass you back to Monica.
busy day it has been. So thank you so much, Mark, especially for moderating both of our panels today. Could not do it without you. I'm going to be speaking for a couple minutes about the Own Your Future program, and then we're going to have the opportunity to learn about some of the upcoming events next week for our graduate students, and we will then close with the opportunity to meet Dr. Jenny Massey. So what I want to go through right now is the Own Your Future program. I believe my slides are on screen. Thank you. The Own Your Future program is a program for doctoral students that really gives you an opportunity to engage on campus and learn more about many of the skills and aptitudes required to be successful, whether it is in your education here at Western or after. So it is a program designed to help doctoral students with their professional development. It's meant to complement the current PhD curriculum you're engaged in. It begins with self-assessment designed to identify student strengths and opportunities for growth, and students are directed from their assessments to various workshops. The workshops are developed by our partners on campus, straight across campus, and many of the people that you've met today. It's open to all PhD students, so look for Own Your Future in all of our information coming from SGPS. It is categorized for students in all 4 years. It's not simply open to first-year students. There are more than 40 unique workshops, and they're usually held on Thursdays between 12:30 and 2:30. Visit the website uwo.ca, Own Your Future, to learn more. And Adam Rajak, the coordinator, was at our resource fair, so you're welcome to connect with him. And now I welcome Jeremy back to the stage.
All right, hi everyone. I'm just going to speak to you very briefly. I know you, for those of you who are here this morning, would have already heard from Gina regarding SOGS and a little bit more largely about what we do and what we offer. But what I want to focus on for the next few minutes is just some of the events that are upcoming next week. We have a great orientation lineup, so I will put, I'll just move to this slide. There we go. So these are kind of the snapshot of the key events, but I'm going to do a little walkthrough right now of some of the things that we have offered every single day. So next week, from Monday to Friday, there's something for all sorts of graduate students, programming, starting with on the Monday, we have a family barbecue. So for graduate students with kids, you don't need to have a family to come enjoy. You can buy tickets in the SOGS office. It's $5, and you get a meal. It'll be either like a hamburger, chicken burger, hot dog, fries, drink. We'll have like some arts and crafts for the kids. There's going to be tie-dye. You can play board games there if you'd like. There's going to be lots of stuff to do. So at the very least, it's a very cheap meal. But for graduate students with children, the kids eat free. So hopefully that's encouraging for those of you who want to come out and get a kind of first look at the Grad Club if you haven't had a chance to do so yet. Following that event is going to be a kind of a bring your own crafts event. This is a regular event that happens at the Grad Club where people can, whether they're crocheting or if there's a particular form of craft that you like doing, there's a regular craft group that gets together, they'll get some appetizers and they just hang out and talk about their hobbies. So if that's something that interests you, then you can continue on and hang on through the night and just crochet away until the Grad Club closes, basically. On Tuesday, we have in the morning our drop-in breakfast. So we're going to be supplying free coffee for graduate students. So you can come in. If you would like to try the Grad Club breakfast, it's delicious. It's less than $6. It's a really cheap breakfast, and we're going to be there at a table telling people more about SOGS and what we are, but we're going to be offering coffee to everyone. So at the very least, if you'd like to swing by to get a free cup, then we recommend that you come by and do so. In the afternoon, we have the International of Tuesday, I should say the date, is September the 10th, the International Graduate Student Meet and Greet. So our International Graduate Student Issues Committee has organized a big meet and greet at the Grad Club from 3 to 5. And at that event, there's going to be opportunities to win some prizes. We've invited various units and stakeholders from across campus to come and set up and share some of their resources with you. So if you'd like to get to know some of the more senior international graduate students here on campus, that's a great opportunity to come and see what that committee is all about. And there's also a Meet Your Commissioners event that comes just after that. So we have a number of commissioners here at SOGS to make sure that All constituency groups are best represented as much as possible. So we have, for example, like an accessibility commissioner, pride commissioner, indigenous student commissioner. So they have organized their own event as well, where there will be tons of appetizers and food, and it's your opportunity to meet the leaders in those positions. So the thing I want to stress as we're kind of moving through the week, if you'll notice, is that there's going to be food, and often it's free at all of these events. At the very least, if you're hungry and wandering around campus, come to Middlesex College. There's a chance there's going to be something around. So after the Meet Your Commissioners, we have our trivia night. Trivia is a regular event that takes place at the Grad Club, and so they're going to have a special edition of their trivia night. Honestly, sometimes the theme trivia nights are some of the most popular things that we do. For example, we have a Harry Potter trivia night that kind of like lines up at the door super early. So if you would like, if trivia is your thing, if you'd like to sign up with a team of maybe you and your colleagues, or just kind of show up and get placed with people in other departments, it's an opportunity again to just kind of socialize and meet new people and have some fun. On Wednesday, our kind of central event of the whole orientation schedule is our kind of Welcome to Your Grad Club event, and that's going to be your opportunity from 4 to 7 to come by, as expected, tons of free food, to meet your SOGS team. So the entire executive will be there, the commissioners will be there, our committee chairs will be there, and again, we've also invited numerous people, both from campus, units on campus, and people in the City of London. So we're hoping to have local London councillors will be there, the London Library will have representatives there. We're hoping to have a ton of resources, and so you can really get a snapshot of what it's like to be a student here at Western. Knock on wood that we're hoping also that the president will be able to make it. He's triple booked during that time slot, but he's going to do his best. So that's going to be a great opportunity for you, again, to socialize and meet some new people and kind of figure out, A, what SOGS is about and how you can get involved if that's something that would be interesting to you. Now, the three kind of a little bit more fun and entertaining events kind of cap us off at the end of the week. Starting with Thursday, September 12th, we have our amazing race. So on our SOGS Facebook page, if you haven't already had a chance to go and like it yet, there'll be a link, and also on our website, you can find the link there, to go sign up an amazing race team of up to 4 people. And what basically the Amazing Race is, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the show, is we have set up with various units and stakeholders around campus. They are going to have activities and organizations. So if you're not all that familiar with campus, this is a great chance for you in a quick sprint to figure out where things are and what you can find and what resources they have. So we'll place you at your first event, and essentially you'll have to complete an activity, do a game, do something at that event, and then it's a free-for-all on campus. So you sign up with your team, and once you've completed all the activities around campus for all the participating stakeholders, you return to the Grad Club. Everyone who participates in the Amazing Race will get a $5 gift certificate. For the team that wins the Amazing Race, we'll get a $200 gift certificate to the Grad Club, which is a lot of food and drink. For the second place team, there's a $150 gift certificate, and for the third place team, there's a $100 gift certificate. Now, I don't know if any of you are here from kinesiology, but for the last 3 years, the kinesiology department has won the Amazing Race, and we are really looking for other departments to come and knock them off their throne, because they always come ready to play. So if something like that would interest you, even if you don't necessarily have people that you want to join in with your team and your department, we'll have sign-up sheets where you can come in as singles, and we'll put you in a team together. The evening of Thursday, September 12th, is our bonfire night. Tickets cost $5, but with that, you get a free meal, unlimited s'mores. We're just going to have s'mores at the Yin Yang that we're going to be roasting on a fire, as long as it doesn't rain. If it does, we'll kind of do it en masse in an oven. But we're going to have live music, and it's going to be a great big social event, so we'd love to have you out. We're hoping also inside we'll be playing a movie as well. And then the last thing on Friday, September the 13th, is our karaoke night. We run monthly karaoke events, and this one is going to be special because everyone who comes out and sings, every song you sing, you're going to get a gift certificate to the Grad Club. So if singing is your thing and you would like to come out and earn a little bit of money to spend for food and drink at the Grad Club, then this is your opportunity to shine. So next week is full every single day, tons of events to choose from, and we would love to see you out there.
Wonderful. Okay, so as we move forward into the closing portion of our very busy day, again, I'll remind you that there were almost 100 staff, faculty, volunteers, and student leaders involved in bringing this to you today. So that's a testament to how happy we are that you're joining us. Our final guest is Dr. Jenny Massey. She's the Associate Vice President of Student Experience, and as a student affairs scholar practitioner, Dr. Massey's research is focused on the geographies of higher education, with special interest in access, retention, and persistence. Her work examines the impact of co-curricular experiences on student learning and engagement. Jenny is very passionate about the graduate student experience and is dedicated to ensuring our students have an outstanding experience at Western. So let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Massey.
All right. Hey, everybody. How's it going? It's been a good day. Has it been a long day? Anyone regretting their decision to come to grad school yet? No. It's all right. You got a few weeks. So I'm Jenny Massey. I'm the Associate Vice President, Student Experience, and I am so glad you are here. As Monica said, people have been working incredibly hard all summer preparing for your arrival, and it is always so joyful to see our students arrive and begin their graduate journeys here with us at Western. You know, I didn't actually get my graduate degree from either of my graduate degrees from Western. Actually, I didn't get any of my degrees from Western. In fact, I got my PhD from a slightly less prestigious university in Kingston. But, you know, should I have been afforded the opportunity to study at Western, I certainly would have been here. So I'm so glad that you made a very wise choice to come and study alongside us, and we are looking forward to journeying with you throughout your degree. When I enrolled in my PhD at Queen's University, I was working full-time. I had 2 young children, and then took on the PhD. And I see a few of you nodding in the room. And I think it's really important that we talk about this, because we often think about the graduate student experience as though there's one journey. And in fact, what we know is that there are multiple graduate student experiences, right? That our pathways are distinctive, that there are different components of our lives that we bring to that journey. And I remember beginning the PhD and being encouraged by a number of people to reconsider whether I was really the right fit. You know, I was a first-generation student. I didn't know anybody that had ever gone to university other than my teachers when I decided to study as an undergraduate student. So I certainly didn't have anyone in my sphere of influence that had ever embarked on a PhD before. And I'll be honest, I was pretty terrified. I was terrified about failing. I was terrified that I wasn't as smart as perhaps the application people that had reviewed my application thought I was. I was terrified that I would look foolish in my small group geography courses as I tried to grapple with concepts of neoliberalism. I knew the discourse, I didn't really understand the theory. I was terrified that I would let my kids down because I wouldn't be around to see them grow up as much as I thought that they expected me to be. And I was terrified because I didn't know what I didn't know. And I suspect there's a few of you in the room today that are feeling that same level of anxiety and worry. And I want to say to you, that's actually fairly healthy, right? It's okay to be a bit apprehensive as you embark on a new degree. You haven't written a dissertation until you've written a dissertation. And it's okay that your first draft isn't your final draft. In fact, that's the way it should be. And it's okay that you get comments back from your supervisor that encourage you to completely redesign your entire theoretical framework. In fact, that's the way it should be. Right? We are here to journey alongside you, to challenge you, and to support you in equal proportions. And I want you to think about how you make the very most of your journey. I also think it's really important that you make time for yourself, that you make time for the people that are important to you. Some of you will have caregiving responsibilities. For me, it was 2 young children. For some of you, it may be other family, it may be nieces, it may be nephews, it may be grandparents or parents. These are all really important roles that we play concurrently with being a graduate student. And in fact, we're made whole by all of those responsibilities. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy. My experience would tell me, in fact, it's actually quite challenging. And what's important is that you set yourself timeframes and boundaries. You reach out for help. You study hard and then you take a break. And actually make a plan. Know what's due when, and set realistic expectations. I'd also encourage you to stay in touch with your supervisor on a regular basis. They should be a really good support for you. And make friends with a librarian. You'll be amazed how fabulous the library staff can be, and they will help you along your journey. There are also an incredible number of staff and faculty right across the campus that care about you and want to see you grow and develop in all kinds of interesting and complex ways. In fact, at Western, we are so committed to supporting graduate student success that this year we created the position that Monica now occupies. Monica's been with us just a few short months and is already making an enormous transformational difference in graduate student life at Western. We really understand that the work that you do, your experiences on our campus, is nuanced from the undergraduate student experience. We also want to get better at supporting you. And so we see you as co-conspirators in the creation of an awesome graduate student life. And so I'm here today to tell you that not only do we want you to help, not only do we want to help you, but there's an invitation to you to help us get better at what we do. There'll be opportunities for you to give input into what we're doing well and where there are opportunities for improvement. There'll be opportunities for you to volunteer with student experience to plan these kinds of programs going forward. There'll be opportunities for you to say, you know what would really help me? You know what would help our graduate students? And you come forward with these fantastic ideas that we couldn't even begin to imagine. Stay in touch with us, be engaged with us, challenge us to do our work better. We're looking to you for guidance and support. You made the right choice to come to Western. We are so glad you're here, and we believe in you. And if you're sitting there today wondering what it's going to be like for the next 75 million years as you finish your graduate degree, that's how it's going to feel in a couple months. It won't take that long. If you're a little worried about that, take a deep breath and remember that getting here was an accomplishment and is the beginning of a new and very exciting journey. And we admitted you to this great institution because we know you can do it. And we have everything that you need to be successful. So reach out early and often, enrich your experience, and have confidence in yourself. Be hopeful for your future, be engaged in your learning, and challenge yourself in new ways. Welcome to Western. We're so glad you're here.
All right, thank you so much, Jenny. I'd like to thank again all of you for joining us today. There are many people who work to make the event a success. I'd like to acknowledge the amazing organization work of Connie Vuxen from the School of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies. She has been the wizard behind the curtain and coordinating everything from the start. I'd also like to thank Dan Durak of Athletics and Recreation for managing and providing our video and AV today. Additional thank yous go out to the team from DPL Sound, the staff and management of Alumni Hall as well. This fantastic facility, if you've never been in it before, serves multiple functions. We've referenced how graduation will occur for you in the same space, but more soon than that, basketball practice will actually be starting at 4 o'clock. So on that note, I will send you forth to start your new journey, whether you're new to Western or you're coming back again for grad school. Congratulations. Thanks for joining us today. And as the manager of Graduate Student Life, I look forward to connecting with you several times over the next few months. Thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon.